Here's the box for the Gamma Shorty, and here's the advertisement for the BRD Smart X 8198 clipper. Very similar. So just how alike are these two machines? All right, so we're going to run through these two clippers real quick, and we're going to do what we usually do. Test the blades, test the RPMs, test the battery, take the machine apart, talk about the accessories and everything. So let's get into it and start with the blades. Gamma Shorty comes with the Vapor blade. BRDClip comes with something very similar. Let's take them off and look at them. All right, for the stationary blade, both of them have DLC coating. You guys already know diamond-like carbon helps keep the blades sharp, helps keep them cool, and prevents rust. Both of these blades have 21 teeth and are very similar in design. They are both fade blades, grooves on the back, like a taper blade to give you the best of both worlds. The grooves on the BRDClip stationary blade are a little bit deeper, but neither of them give like that loud echo blade type of crunch. Now let's move on to the cutting blade. This is the Shallow Tooth 2.0 cutting blade from Gamma. Helps provide a smooth, snag-free cut. 28 teeth on this. This is also metal with the DLC coating. Here's the cutting blade on the BRDClip. This blade is metal also with the DLC coating. Also has 28 teeth and pretty much identical to the Shallow Tooth 2.0 cutting blade. If I didn't keep track of which machine they came off of, I would probably mix them up. And one thing about the blades I sometimes forget to mention in my video is how far they open up. And both of these open up to about a half. And if anyone has a fade blade that says it opens up to a 1, bro, it's never a 1. Trust me. If you have a customer that gets a 1 on top and you say, hey, this opens up to a 1, let me try that, they're going to be looking in the mirror saying, looks like we went a little short this week. So trust me when I say that. And when it comes to the grooves on the back, I usually mention this in my videos. The grooves do pretty much 3 things. 1, because it's grooved out, less metal is going to touch the head and the hair, and that will be less friction, which will mean less heat. Also, these grooves mean less metal rubbing against the client's head, so it will be more comfortable for the client. And lastly, these grooves also help channel and organize and feed the hair into the cutting blade as it goes back and forth. You could think of it like a comb. It's combing the hair as you cut it, and it's not letting it escape, and it's staying in the groove and getting cut more efficiently. And that's the grooves. All right, so now that we know the blades are almost identical, let's give them a little heat test and see how they hold up with that DLC coating. All right, so to get the most accurate results with the heat test, we have to put a small piece of electrical tape on the blades because the same properties that keep the blades cool make it harder for the thermal camera to pick up the heat. So now we have the Gamma Shorty set up and ready to go. And what we're gonna do is let the blades run for 30 minutes and see how hot they get. So let's check it out. All right, so you see after 30 minutes, the blades got up to 110 degrees. Pretty hot, but we've seen hotter. Now let's check out the BRD. So same thing, we're gonna let the machine run for 30 minutes and then we're gonna see how hot the blades get after that 30-minute run time. So let's check it out. All right, coming up on 30 minutes, and at the 30-minute mark, the blades are sitting at 107 degrees, so a little bit cooler than the Gamma ones. And remember, these had deeper ridges, so that might have assisted with the heat escaping. All right, so interesting results. Now let's get into the motor for this machine. Now, both of these machines have a rotary brushless motor, and they're both calling that motor the EON motor. So EON, E-O-N, E stands for efficient, O is for optimize, N is for noise reduce. So it's going to efficiently perform, and it's optimized to go through bulk, and it's noise reduced so it stays quiet for a long time. And the digital part is when the circuit board is hooked up to the motor and it makes sure it maintains the correct RPMs when it's going through bulk and all of that. BRDClip says it has a very similar motor. So let's give them a little torque test, see how they perform going through the brush. Then we'll test the RPMs. And then we're going to open the machine up just to take a peek at the motor to see how similar they look. All right, Gamma Shorty first. So it goes through pretty good. You just have to go through kind of slow. You can't just run through it. All right, BRDClip Smart X 8198. So it went through just as good. And I will say this did have good cutting performance, but there's a little more to it, so stick around. Let's check out the RPMs. All right, so the Gamma Shorty is supposed to get 7,500 RPMs, so let's give it a test. Gamma Shorty. So we're really getting around 7,200 RPMs with the Gamma Shorty. But remember, RPMs is just the speed, doesn't have to do with the torque and how good it holds up when going through bulk. Now for the BRDClip. Now this is supposed to get 7,200 RPMs. Let's give it a test. So pretty much performing the same way, 7,200 RPMs. Now let's open them up and just see how they look inside, see if that motor is identical. All right, so you see the motors look very similar inside, but the BRDClip is a little bit different, a little bit smaller, but definitely two brushless motors. All right, so now let's check the battery and the runtime on the Gamma Shorty. Now on the box and on the website, it says it gets up to 2 hours of runtime. So let's put it on that light up charging stand, wait until everything is lit solid, then throw it in the clamp, hit the shot clock, and see if we could get that 2 hours of runtime. All right, so we got 1 hour and 55 minutes, pretty close to that 2 hours of runtime, and I was actually expecting to get a little less from this machine. So let's check out the BRD. All right, now the BRDClip is supposed to get 180 minutes of runtime. That's 3 hours. So let's put it on the charger. It's gonna blink, and once it's done charging, that light will go out. Now it's at a full charge. We'll put it in the clamp, hit the shot clock, and see if we could get that 3 hours runtime. All right, we were able to hit 3 hours and 25 minutes. That's well beyond the advertised runtime, so not too bad for the BRDClip in this category. All right, now we'll talk about the body for these two machines, and this is where the BRDClip starts to lose me, but we're gonna start with the Gamma Shorty. Gamma Shorty has an all plastic body, and this is one of the most compact machines on the market today. This has interchangeable lids, interchangeable levers, and an interchangeable grip plate. I have the textured grip plate on here now. You could also have it smoother with the thumb indentation, and we'll go over that more in the accessories. As you move down the machine, you see it as the grip cut when you're holding it in your hand. Get to the bottom, traditional plug, USB-C, and these three holes right here, you can insert a hanging hook. Switch on the side, 5-click lever, and grooves on the back. But one thing about this machine is because it's all plastic, it does feel a little cheap in the hand. So that's one thing for consideration if the type of material your machine is made of matters. All right, now moving on to the BRDClip. Now the BRDClip is also all plastic like the Shorty and super compact. Very similar. So starting from the top, you have this right here. This is a little thumb indentation. You have the grip cut, and you have the button to turn it on in the middle right here. And this button feels a little funky sometimes. You can even squeeze the whole machine, and it'll come on. Moving on to the bottom, you have the regular charging port, no USB way to charge this, and you have a little hanging hook down here as well if you want to hang your machine. Moving on to the back, you have grooves as well, and a 5-click lever. But this is like, feels so cheap and so stiff, and even after some use, this thing isn't loosening up. So when it comes to the body, you definitely feel like you have a cheap machine, but it does have decent cutting ability. But let's move on to the weight and sound real quick. Gamma Shorty, 8.7 ounces or 247 grams. BRDClip Smart X, 8198, 8.8 ounces or 250 grams. So almost the same weight. Now check the sound, and the Gamma Shorty definitely has more miles on it than the BRD. So we'll do the Gamma Shorty first. So coming in at 65 decibels, not too bad. BRDClip. So 67 decibels, and it has a little more rattly sound to it. You know, you have to figure this machine just probably wasn't engineered and ran through as many tests as a Gamma Shorty, and it shows. So now we'll talk about the price for these two machines. Now the Gamma Shorty is retailing at $249.95. Definitely a hefty price for the machine. BRDClip Smart X, $81.98. This machine is available in this neon green, a red, and a black. On AliExpress is selling from anywhere from about $75 to $90. And for that price, what do we get for that price? So with the Gamma Shorty, you get 3 interchangeable lids. You have the orange that's on the machine now. You have the blue and the black. Not only that, but you could change the grip plate right here. Take off the 4 screws and you could put a smooth grip plate on any one of the colors. Or you could put the thumb indentation grip plate in the middle here on any of the covers. You could also change the lever. The blue one has a little bit of a different style to it. It's a little bit thinner and has a little groove to it. Or you use the black one to match the black cover. And if you wanted to get rid of the click lever, you would take the levers off and remove this spring that holds into the click, and then you'll just have a free floating lever. You also get hanging hook, and there's a little screw that comes in the box. Don't miss it, because that's what's going to hold the hanging hook in when you install it. Just screw it down right there. And the machine will still fit in the charging stand with the hanging hook. You also get oil, clean out brush, screwdriver, stretch bracket. This will allow your blades to open up to a longer cutting length with no guard, but you will lose the click lever ability when you install this. Extra cam follower, instruction manual, charging stand that lights up, extra long charging cord, USB-C charging cord, extra screws for the lid, and a set of double magnetic tight guards going from a half, number 1, 1.5, and a 2. And that's all you get. Definitely need more guards in this set for that price. And for the BRDClip, this machine comes in a little plastic lunchbox, and it comes with blade cover, clean out brush, charging stand. And let me just say something about this charging stand real quick. This charging stand doesn't even fit the machine that good. So you put it in and you have to press it down for it to make the charge. And then it kind of gets stuck in there. So you need 2 hands to take it out. So if you think someone's going to come in and you're like, all right, what are you getting, bro? Oh, so once again, I don't think this went through a lot of testing before it got to market. Moving on. Comes with a super long charging cable, which goes from USB to the regular charging port, which is found in the back of the charging stand and on the bottom of the machine. And you also get a set of double magnetic guards going from a half, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, and 4. And that's what you're going to get for the BRDClip. And the plastic on is pretty good. Magnets aren't as strong as the tight guards, but they still work pretty good. I'll probably use these guards for like a mobile kit or something like that. All right, so now we're at the teardown section of the video where we open the machines up and take a look at them inside, so let's get to it. All right, so here's the inside of the Gamma Shorty. And here's the inside of the BRDClip Smart X 8198. And if you're wondering how the BRDClip got a longer runtime, it's because they have a bigger battery in there, where you can kind of see in there. But you see the Shorty battery gets cut short here, and the BRDClip battery goes like all the way to the bottom. So they were able to fit a bigger battery in there and kind of having the machine just as compact. And that's why the runtime was longer. And I like the detachments. I could detach the motor and the battery right there. Interesting as always, open these up. Let's put these machines together and go to the final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts. Now, when I originally got the Shorty, I felt like it did feel, you know, pretty cheap with all the plastic, but it is super lightweight. But this feels premium after messing around with the BRD Smart Clip. And the BRD Smart Clip isn't that bad of a machine. It just seems like they blew the budget on the blade, motor, and battery. And then when it came to the body, like, look at it, it sounds like you're breaking bones right there. When it came to the body and other things, it just seems like they just kind of rushed it to market. And with a couple tweaks, it would be a pretty solid machine. But I would stay away from it just because of that. And BRDClip kind of as a whole, sometimes when you look at some of the stuff they put out, it really makes you wonder. Like their all plastic shaver, for instance, with like a plastic vector motor in there that's not even centered in the window. Like, why would you do that? And this thing doesn't really rev up. It kind of drags. It's whack. So that kind of makes me stay away from BRDClip as a whole after those two experiences. Messing with that shaver, now messing with this. Although a usable machine. But if I had to pick one, I would definitely go with the Shorty. Gammon Stylecraft is always helpful when it comes to customer support. So if you have an issue, you do have a lifeline. I don't know if you'll be able to get in touch with anyone from BRDClip. But, you know, it's always interesting to review these AliExpress machines and see how they stack up. And sometimes you get really impressed. But the thing about the AliExpress machines is that they just rush everything to market. So you could stumble upon something that's new that is eventually going to come to the world, like VGR and the 880C with that external rotor brushless motor. Got a video on that too. Go over to the channel and check it out. So definitely still picking up AliExpress stuff. I don't think I'll be picking up anything from BRDClip soon, but Shorty wins this one. But at the end of the day, the choice is yours. But this video should have enough information for you to help make that choice. And just in case you're wondering what the hell this was, we put it to bed. Barber's Lounge, baby. Peace.